Her shirt ripped open in front of everyone, and for a second, nobody even breathed. The rich boy who always laughed at her was suddenly the one on the floor thrown down by the shy girl nobody noticed. People stared, phones shaking, not sure if they should cheer or run. How did she go from invisible to unstoppable in a single heartbeat? And after this, what will they do to break her spirit next? Earlier that morning, Ayla James had stepped off the metro with her bag slung over one shoulder, coat too big, hoodie strings knotted tight at her neck. She always wore her father's coat, black wool, heavy at the sleeves. Said it made her feel like she could disappear into it. Blend in, be no one. She was used to being no one at Hallowell Prep. The school itself looked like a museum column, chandeliers, marble floors. They called it historic. What they meant was, built for legacies, not outsiders. Especially not girls like Ayla. Quiet, working class, black. She walked past the carved busts lining the entry like judges, her sneakers squeaking on the polished stone. Inside her locker, a taped photo of her and her dad in military fatigues. He had taught her to hold eye contact and throw a perfect wrist lock before he died. It was the only reason she still walked through those doors every day. She didn't look up when she heard the voices. Yo, charity case showed up again. Cole Remington leaned against the wall like he owned the air. Lacrosse jersey unzipped, smirk loaded. He was tall, golden, and rich enough to never hear the word consequence. His friends, Tanner and Jace, flanked him like matching shadows. Ayla kept walking. That was always the rule. Don't react, don't challenge, just vanish. Hey, Cole called out, stepping into her path. Don't be rude. I'm late for chem, she said softly. He tilted his head. Still pretending you're here for the academics? Tanner snorted. Must be hard taking notes when you're too busy scrubbing toilets to afford pencils. Ayla's fingers clenched around her folder. She turned sideways, trying to squeeze past, but Cole reached out, tugging at her backpack strap, then lower. The sound of her hoodie tearing was fast and brutal. She stumbled, fabric giving way across her back, sharp cold hitting skin. Books hit the ground. Phones clicked, and for a single breath, Ayla froze. Then she heard someone whisper, "Oh hell no." A figure stepped out of the crowd. Maya Trent, head of yearbook, student council vice president, and one of the few who ever treated her like more than a symbol. She stood next to Ayla like she'd always belonged there. You filming this? She said, holding up her phone. Cole didn't blink. Put that down. No, Maya said flatly. You put her down. The hallway tensed. Ayla tightened the jacket over her torn shirt, her face a map of heat and shame. Cole sneered. This school isn't for girls like you. Ayla didn't speak. She moved. One fluid motion. She grabbed his wrist, pivoted her hips, and flung him straight over her shoulder. It was so clean, so fast, it didn't look real until he was on the ground, breath knocked clean out. Gasps, phones up, footsteps backing away. Tanner and Jace didn't even blink, they froze like statues. Ayla stood still, breathing hard, not afraid, just awake. And in that quiet, broken hallway, one thing became impossible to ignore. This wasn't the climax, it was the ignition. By second period, the clip had gone viral in the school group chat. 6 seconds of silent power. Cole Remington on the floor, Ayla standing over him, hoodie flapping like a flag. No caption needed. By 9:17 a.m., it had 1,200 shares. And Ayla? She sat in the nurse's office with a safety pin holding her shirt closed, trying to stop her hands from shaking, not from fear, but from the surge of adrenaline still burning under her skin. Across from her, Maya paced, phone in hand. They're already spinning it, she said. Violent outburst. Troubled student snaps. You know the drill. Ayla didn't answer. She stared at the floor, jaw tight. If you speak up, they call you a threat, Maya said. If you don't, they treat you like furniture. A knock. The nurse opened the door. Principal Everett wants to see both of you. Now Ayla stood. She didn't know it yet. But this wasn't just about one hallway or one boy. This was about a system that had been silent too long, and Ayla James had just broken it wide open. The principal's office was all dark wood, soft lighting, and pretended calm. Ayla sat stiff-backed in the leather chair opposite Principal Everett, her blazer freshly stitched, but the weight of humiliation still clung to her shoulders. Beside her, Maya sat with arms crossed, eyes locked on the polished desk like it might blink first. Across from them sat Cole Remington, ice pack clutched dramatically to his side, flanked by his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Remington, both dressed like they were headed to a fundraiser, not a disciplinary meeting. "I want to be absolutely clear," Mrs. Remington said. "Your student assaulted my son." "She defended herself," Maya said flatly, before Ayla could even draw breath. "By throwing him?" Mr. Remington asked, voice dipped in entitlement. "She could have broken something." "She did," Maya said. "Your illusion of control." Principal Everett cleared his throat with the kind of tired authority that meant he was used to pretending neutrality. "We've reviewed the footage," he said. "It's complicated." "No, it's not," Maya shot back. "He ripped her shirt off in front of half the school." She reacted. She attacked. "She executed a self-defense maneuver," said a voice from the door. All eyes turned. Ayla's mother, Ayla James, walked in still wearing her nurse scrubs, shoes damp from the rain. Her expression was calm, but there was fire coiled behind her eyes. "She's been taking community self-defense since her father passed," she said. "Because we couldn't afford therapy, and because I refused to raise a daughter who didn't know how to protect herself." The room held its breath. Mrs. Remington recovered first. "Your daughter humiliated mine." "She stood her ground," Camille replied, eyes never leaving hers. "And if you're embarrassed, maybe ask why your son thought he could strip a girl and walk away laughing." Everett shifted. "We're issuing a formal warning to Ayla for engaging in physical contact." "That's what you're calling it?" Maya whispered, disgust sharp in her voice. "And Cole will be suspended for 3 days." 3 days? Camille asked quietly. "After a public assault?" Mr. Remington stood. "If this is how you're handling it, we'll be reviewing our contributions." "Then maybe we'll be reviewing federal discrimination statutes," Camille said, rising to her full height. "Because my daughter has a name, not a price tag." The silence after was thick, the kind that cracks things. When they stepped out of the office, Maya turned to Ayla. "You okay?" "I don't know," she answered honestly. "It didn't feel like a choice. It just happened." Maya smiled. "Yeah, that's how survival usually starts." But survival had its price. By lunch, someone had posted a photo of Ayla's locker, the words, "Know your place," scrawled across it in red Sharpie. Inside, a cut-up hoodie and a single Barbie doll with its head twisted off. Ayla stared, her stomach a pit of something she couldn't name. Maya and Sadie Vance, the editor of the student blog, stood behind her, silent. "This is evidence," Sadie muttered, pulling out her phone. A janitor passed, paused, and whispered, "If you need someone to say what they saw, my niece used to go through the same thing here. Just ask." And then he walked away. It wasn't much, but it was something. That afternoon, Ayla moved through the school like a storm cloud no one wanted to acknowledge. Eyes followed her. Some curious, some cruel. One sophomore girl brushed past her and whispered, "That was brave. Thank you." It was the first kindness she'd felt all day. Until her phone buzzed. No name, no number. Just 5 words. "You just made it worse." She didn't respond. She took a screenshot and kept walking. Because her mom used to say, the moment you stop shrinking is the moment they start shaking. And Ayla? She was done shrinking. The next morning, the air at Hallowell felt loaded. Like the school itself had taken a breath and was holding it, waiting to see what Ayla James would do next. Security guards leaned against lockers they'd never bothered to patrol before. Teachers offered brittle smiles that didn't reach their eyes. Cole hadn't returned, but his name lingered like a curse carved into the walls. Ayla walked through the front gates in silence, her coat clean, her head high. This time, she wasn't alone. Maya walked beside her. So did Sadie. And trailing them like quiet gravity was Noor Delgado, captain of the girls' wrestling team. Her presence alone felt like backup. like someone had dared the world to try her. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Their walk was the statement. Inside, Principal Everett's voice spilled over the intercom, firm and artificial. All students must report directly to homeroom. Phones off, no exceptions. It was the school's version of panic a digital lockdown, like controlling screens could control truth. In literature, Ms. Winthrop rearranged the seating chart without warning. Ayla found herself placed in front of Tanner, Cole's sidekick, who spent the first 10 minutes flicking balled-up gum wrappers at her shoulder. She didn't turn around. Not yet. But when the third one landed, Maya's voice cut through the silence. Seriously? You think this is how you win? Ms. Winthrop looked up. Ms. Trent, is there a problem? She's being harassed, Maya replied, her voice steady. There are no phones allowed. I wasn't reaching for my phone, Maya interrupted. I was reaching for my patience. The class held its breath. Then, a voice from the back of the room. She's not lying. All heads turned. It was Ben Linthy, quietest kid in class. He pushed up his glasses, lifted his phone calmly, and said, I've got it all. Want to see? Ms. Winthrop went pale. That won't be necessary. Tanner muttered, Snitch. Ben didn't blink. Try me. And for the first time, Ayla felt something warm unfurl in her chest. Safety. By lunch, a file titled The Hallowell Ledger began circulating. Sadie had written it. Maya had sourced it. And students were already whispering about what was inside. Testimonies, screenshots, anonymous stories from girls who had been shoved, mocked, harassed, and ignored. One section hit Ayla like a cold wave. A former student, Lexi Mendez, scholarship kid, gone without a word last semester. No announcement, no farewell. Her file read, filed multiple complaints, 2 naming Cole, transferred, records sealed. Ayla blinked. They erased her. Noor's jaw clenched. They always erase the quiet ones first. Maya nodded. This school's not broken. It's working exactly how it was built. That night, Ayla couldn't sleep. Her inbox filled with messages. Some anonymous, some cruel. You ruined everything. Thanks for the show, angry girl. I warned you. Keep pushing and you'll regret it. But then came another. They did this to my sister. I never told anyone. Thank you. The next day, Ayla was called to the nurse's office during second period. A note said her mother had arrived. She walked in, heart pounding. But the room was empty. The door clicked behind her. Cole stood in front of it. Tanner and Jace flanked him, blocking the only exit. Thought you could ruin my life and walk away? Cole said. His voice wasn't loud. It was worse, low, steady, unhinged. Ayla didn't move. Is this your apology? You're a virus, he sneered. And viruses get wiped out. Before he could step closer, the curtain behind the exam table rustled. Noor stepped out, phone in hand. You forgot to check the other door, she said. Cole's face turned. Give me the phone. She backed up. Take it. But smile, you're on camera. Again. Then the hallway door opened. More students stood outside. Phones raised. Sadie, Ben, Maya. Even Mr. Bell, the quiet chemistry teacher, stood with folded arms. I suggest you boys step out, he said. The police have already been called. Cole's face fell. Jace stepped back. Tanner cursed under his breath. Ayla didn't speak. She didn't have to. Because this time, they weren't cornering her. They were surrounded. The video went live before the cops even arrived. By the time Cole and his crew were escorted out, the footage had already stormed TikTok. No music, no filters. Just the raw moment. 3 boys trapped, and a girl who didn't flinch. By afternoon, Hallowell was a name on trending lists. News vans parked across the street. Headlines flashed words like, elite school scandal and student activist uncovers abuse culture. Inside the school, chaos wore a suit and tie. Principal Everett sat in his office like a man trying to keep a dam from bursting. Ayla sat across from him, her mother on one side, Maya on the other. Sadie typed quietly nearby, recording every word. We are taking these allegations very seriously, Everett began. Your 4 threats and 1 assault too late. Camille said coldly. My daughter is not your scapegoat. We were unaware of the most recent incident until you were unaware of everything, Maya snapped. Or you pretended to be. Sadie spun her laptop around. On the screen, a growing Google Doc 51 pages long, screenshots, names, timelines, patterns. This is what we collected in 4 days, Sadie said. Imagine what we'll have in a month. Everett pinched the bridge of his nose. We'll need time to verify. You don't have time, Maya cut in. Reuters just emailed us. As if summoned by the universe, the school secretary knocked, her voice tight. Sir Channel 8 is outside. And CNN just called. When they stepped into the hallway, the view outside was surreal: tripods, camera crews, police still present. The Remington's lawyer gave a bland statement to the press about student misunderstandings and disruptive behavior exacerbated by social media. Ayla didn't look at the cameras. She looked at the students watching from the windows. Inside, the library transformed. They called it the room. Maya, Sadie, Noor, and Ayla worked from the back table, where ring binders became evidence stacks and whisper networks turned into witness lists. More girls came forward, some with shaky hands, some with fists clenched. Lexi Mendez showed up. She didn't speak right away, just stood at the library door, older than she should have looked. They said if I stayed quiet, they'd help my dad renew his work permit, she said softly. No one asked for proof. They just made room. By the end of the day, the file had grown to 84 pages. That night, Ayla sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through dozens of anonymous DMS. I reported something last year. They said I misunderstood. My sister went through the same thing before she dropped out. Thank you for not letting it slide. Then came another letter. Official hospital stationery. Camille held it out, hands trembling. Her job was under review. No direct accusation, no signature. Just pressure. They're coming after us, she said quietly. Ayla didn't cry. She picked up her phone. My name is Ayla James, she said, voice calm, camera steady. And this is what happens when you stop shrinking. She listed the threats, the vandalism, the hallway, the silence. They didn't just come after me. They came after my mother, my name, my story. Because I didn't break the way they expected. She didn't yell, she didn't dramatize, she just spoke, clearly, unapologetically. By dawn, the video had 3 million views. By noon, it had 6. Civil rights attorneys began reaching out. Former students, activists, lawyers. One girl from Oregon messaged her, I'm watching this from my dorm. They did this to me in junior year. You just gave me the words I never had. And then quietly, almost too quietly, Lexi leaned in, voice barely a breath. This isn't the first school. Ayla looked up. Lex's eyes were tired, but burning. It's a system. Built to silence girls like us. It doesn't want to protect them, it wants to erase them. Outside, the marble hallway gleamed in the afternoon sun. Same floor, same shadows. But everything felt different. Because somewhere deep in the bones of Hallowell, the silence was cracking. By Friday morning, the silence was gone. In its place, momentum, noise, movement, truth that refused to be buried again. Principal Everett called an emergency assembly. The auditorium buzzed with attention so thick it pressed against the walls. Students filled every seat. Teachers stood in the back. Media vans lingered outside like vultures in parking lots. Ayla walked in with her shoulders squared, mother beside her. Maya, Noor, Sadie, and Ben followed like a living shield. Lexi took a seat in the third row, arms folded like she dared anyone to look away. Principal Everett stepped onto the stage, face pale, voice strained. Effective immediately, he announced, Cole Remington, Tanner Hughes, and Jace Moreno are suspended pending a criminal investigation. Gasps. A ripple of disbelief. A few claps, scattered like sparks in dry grass. He continued. The school board will undergo an independent audit. And he paused, will be resigning at the end of this term. The room held still. Not out of shock, but relief. Ayla sat frozen for a beat. Not from fear this time, it was something heavier. Gratitude twisted with rage. Memory curled around victory. They'd cracked the walls. But now came the harder part, rebuilding them. Outside, a line of girls stood with signs. "We believe you. No more secrets, not just one throw." Noor handed Ayla one that simply read, "This is what courage looks like." Within days, the room became headquarters. Students poured in with screenshots, names, audio clips. Ben launched a digital safety toolkit. Maya hosted a town hall livestream. Sadie published a story titled, "When Silence is School Policy." And Ayla, she testified. For faculty hearings, for civil suits, for the truth. Each time she ended her words the same way. This isn't about one hallway or one boy. It's about every place that taught girls to be quiet and what happens when one of them stops. 3 weeks later, a notice arrived. An invitation. From Washington, D.C., the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee. Ayla stared at the email like it was written in another language, but Maya just grinned. "You shook the country. Now they want to know how." At the Capitol, Ayla stood in a navy blazer borrowed from her mother. No makeup, no nerves, just breath, heart, truth. Senators leaned forward. Cameras clicked. Lights buzzed overhead. "I was taught not to speak unless asked," she said. But nobody asked what it costs to stay silent. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. She simply told the truth, and it echoed far beyond the room. Months passed. Investigations led to charges. Teachers stepped down. Donors pulled funding. But the culture didn't die. It transformed. Hallowell became a test case, then a model, then a warning. Noor started weekend self-defense workshops. Ben ran a student data protection coalition. Sadie got a full ride to Columbia. Maya launched a podcast, Unmuted. And Ayla? She was elected student body president. On her first day in office, she stood before the school with the same steady fire in her chest. Her voice didn't shake. Her gaze didn't drop. "This school was built to reward silence," she said. "But from now on, it will answer to truth." Students clapped not out of obligation, but belief. As she stepped off the stage, a freshman girl with box braids ran up and hugged her wordlessly. Behind her stood 4 others, each holding notebooks, each with stories ready to be told. Outside, the same marble hallway that once stripped her now held a new plaque. Under the school motto, engraved in silver, "A culture of courage, a legacy of respect." And beneath it, in smaller script, "In honor of Ayla James, who stood and threw back." The revolution didn't end in fire or fury. It ended in a beginning. Because somewhere, in a school not so different from this one, another girl just opened her inbox, just read the headline, just saw the clip. And maybe, just maybe, she is ready to stop shrinking too.